The dog sat under the high chair at every meal, not waiting for food. Waiting for something else. It took the toxicologist report to explain what he had been smelling every mealtime for 3 weeks. Dogs under high chairs are a cliché of parenthood. Everyone knows what it means. The dog is waiting for the food to drop. It is one of the oldest arrangements in the domestication story. The dog beneath, the child above. Gravity doing the rest. Pepper was a 4-year-old beagle and had been under the high chair at every meal since 16-month-old Dario had graduated to solid food. He was reliable there. It was his station. What changed was not the location. What changed was the behavior. For the first year, Pepper sat under the chair and watched for falling food with the concentrated surveillance of an animal with a specific professional mandate. He caught things mid-air. He performed this service with grace and precision. 3 weeks ago, Pepper stopped catching food. He sat under the chair and looked at the underside of the tray. He did not eat food that fell. He sniffed it, stepped back from it, and returned to watching the tray underside. Rosaria Cruz noticed this on day 3. On day 7, she put a piece of food on the floor deliberately. Pepper sniffed it and stepped away. He had never, in 4 years of Beagle existence, voluntarily declined food. She changed the food. She thought, different batch. Maybe he doesn't like this one. Day 10, same. Day 14, same. Pepper sat under the chair, sniffed fallen pieces, did not eat them. On day 21, Rosaria's husband David said he's been refusing the food for 3 weeks. She said, Beagles don't refuse food. She said, I know. They took the food, the specific vegetable puree and grain mix they had been serving Dario for this entire 3-week period, to their pediatrician. They felt, they said, somewhat unhinged doing this. Subscribe now before the next test, because the laboratory analysis that the pediatrician sent the food to showed something that explained 3 weeks of a beagle declining to eat what fell from the high chair. And what the toxicologist's note said about lead contamination in imported processed baby food grain product changed how this family thinks about every meal they have served. The food tested positive for elevated lead content, a batch from an imported grain product that had exceeded safe limits for infant consumption. The contamination was below the threshold of any visual or olfactory detection by human senses. It was not below the threshold of a beagle's nose. Dr. Emilio Say, the family's pediatrician, ordered a blood lead level test for Dario immediately. His levels were elevated but within the early intervention window. He was placed on a monitoring and dietary modification protocol. The food was reported to the FDA. Toxicologist Marcus Webb, who provided the laboratory analysis, said in his written report, the metal contamination in this sample would produce a detectable odor signature in the parts per billion range for a dog with high olfactory sensitivity, a dog that had been consuming food from this source regularly and stopped, particularly one showing avoidance behavior rather than simple disinterest, is consistent with an animal detecting and refusing a contaminant. Has your dog ever consistently refused or avoided food that you later discovered had something wrong with it? Tell us in the comments. Every guardian deserves to be recognized, even the ones who never asked for anything in return. If stories like this matter to you, subscribe so you never miss the next one. Dario is 18 months. His blood lead levels have normalized with treatment and dietary modification. He is doing well. Pepper is back under the high chair. He is eating what falls again. The food is different now. Different sourcing. Tested batch. He catches things mid-air with the same grace and precision he has always had. What he will not eat, he will not eat. In 4 years of Beagle existence, that sentence has only ever been true once. Once was enough. Next, the husky who began lying between the toddler and the front gate. Every afternoon for 2 weeks until the afternoon the neighbor's fence finally failed.